played the boxing game. And what this speaks to, and this is a boxing show, boxing is fundamentally exploitative. I get this as a fan. It's a guilty pleasure. I get it, right? And usually it's fans and networks exploiting fighters, right? We say, we want to see you in blood and guts fights, which risks their health for the rest of their life to entertain us. But here's what's crazy to me about a fight like that. And I remember, when I'm a little kid, Sugar Ray Leonard wins the gold medal. And then you blink, he's fighting Benitez for the title. Then he's fighting Durant twice. Then he's fighting Hearns. It didn't take 100 years to make the fight. But what's wild about something like this is a real super fight, and I said this on the broadcast for Crawford and Canelo, can't be promoted into existence. Right. What a real super fight is, the dust settles in an era, and there are two dudes left standing. There's Ali, there's Frazier, there's Leonard, there's Hagler, there's Mayweather, there's Pacquiao. That's a super fight, right? There's Crawford, there's Canelo. Those are two big fighters of the era. This type of fight, this could easily be at the end of an era, because Teo might be a dude left standing and Shakur could be the dude left standing, right?
I agree. Are you training to do something to not just beat Shakur, but to beat him in grand fashion? When I say grand fashion, I mean going for the knockout.
Well, I think that the whole thing is the Bible of boxing really is that if you look for the knockout, you won't get it. I think really it's just all about setting the good pace early in the beginning rounds and then going from there.
We have going for us when a person underestimates you. That's lovely. And that ain't the only thing he's underestimating. So we're good.
Max Kellerman believes this matchup won't be easy, describing it as a risky challenge for Shakur and a genuine test of his abilities.
Aesthetically pleasing fight. We've seen the way Teo goes against some of these boxers. We've seen Shakur in some bad fights, obviously. Although Shakur looks pretty damn good against Williams Zepeda. Teo's not a pressure guy. He likes to counter punch. Two counter punchers, really.
Yes, it is not but there are some fights, guys. I think about Pernell Whitaker and Buddy McGirt, or Sugar Ray Leonard and Wilfred Benitez. I love the high-speed chess match. Not every fight has to be rock'em sock'em robots, right? That is, I agree with you. Aesthetically, there could be problems because someone has to take the lead, and they're both counter punchers. But Chris, Teo has some angles with his feet that might bother a guy like Shakur.
That's exactly what I was thinking. He has great angles with the feet. He moves greater in the ring. And combination fighter, to me, combinations is the best.
Teo remains confident and says the fight will be a harsh wake-up call for Shakur Stevenson when they eventually face each other.
Won my mandatory and he didn't. He was too hesitant trying to commit to punches. So I think that it's just something that's going to be a rude awakening for Shakur.
Hey, Doug, you hear that? He said the Bible of boxing. What else is called the Bible of boxing? It's Ring Magazine. And he's a two-division Ring Magazine champ.
Great ambassador for those championship belts as well.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm very big on those things. I claimed 2 weight divisions, 2 Ring Magazine belts.
Shakur's coach, Jack, explains that they stuck with their regular training routine, but made strategic adjustments to prepare him in a smarter way.
Trying a few new little things, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's basically the same thing we've been doing. We changed the strategy, but no camp is never exactly the same. So yeah, it's just like always. We may try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's mainly the same things. One of the best things we have going for us when a person underestimates you. That's lovely. And that ain't the only thing he's underestimating. So we're good.
Max Kellerman notes that although Shakur's power stands out, Teo's strength and movement in the ring are just as threatening, highlighting his skill and determination.
The thing I like about Teo's style, when you have a guy like Shakur whose defense is that good, and he's not just a guy who's going to hug you, he can box, the easiest thing in the world is just to pick him against everybody.
Right. Yes.
But Teo also has the kind of footwork, Malik, where he steps around guys. And I think about Buddy McGirt, Meldrick Taylor.
Yes.
Roy, where Meldrick had quick enough feet where if you were going to come right at Buddy McGirt, he could box you. but Meldrick could give him angles that were more difficult. I think of Roy Jones, James Toney. If you were going to go at James Toney, forget it. His defense is too good. But Roy had the feet to move around James Toney, and maybe Teo has the feet to move around Shakur.
I seriously doubt it, man. Shakur is a whole different type of animal. His ring IQ is up there with the best. He's getting literally, I don't know how many times we've seen.
Shakur says he faces constant criticism and doesn't receive the recognition he feels he's earned, with people often minimizing his accomplishments and dismissing the opponents he's beaten.
And just kept it moving. I do feel like I am in a situation that when I do make fighters look bad and beat them up, the first thing that they going to run to is, oh, this guy wasn't that good, or this guy is not nobody. They're going to take away from my resume, same way they did with Bud. Just like my last fight. They turned the dude that I was fighting and they say he's a cab driver. But I want to say his fight before he fought me, he fought Nakatani. And no disrespect to Teo. Teo had, a majority decision with Nakatani. Lomachenko, it took him 9 or 10 rounds to get him out of there. That dude got him out of there in 6. So he couldn't be as bad as how they made him seem. But I think I'm just in a lose situation when it comes down to it, because anybody that I fight.
Meanwhile, Ryan Garcia has weighed in on the much-anticipated matchup between Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. Although he slightly favors Shakur to come out on top, he makes it clear that Teofimo is not someone to overlook. Garcia highlights Stevenson's skill set, speed, and elite defense as key advantages that make him a difficult opponent for anyone at lightweight. At the same time, he acknowledges that Lopez's power, grit, and ability to adjust during a fight keep the outcome uncertain. Garcia explains that at this level of boxing, fights are often decided by fine details, timing, and brief openings. Even the perceived favorite must stay alert, as one sharp combination or smart tactical change can completely shift the momentum. In his view, this bout is an intriguing battle of styles, pitting Stevenson's technical precision against Lopez's attacking versatility. While he leans toward Shakur, Garcia insists that Teofimo has everything needed to score an upset.
They're going to act like I didn't fight nobody. Even with Edwin. Edwin is a great fighter. But after I beat him, they're going to sit there and say that he wasn't as good as...
Oscar Valdez recently gave his take on the upcoming clash between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, outlining why he thinks Teofimo has a legitimate shot at winning. Valdez highlights Lopez's ring positioning, footwork, and natural counterpunching instincts. He explains that Teofimo relies on his back foot to stay balanced, create space when necessary, and use his reach to fire accurate counters. This approach lets him handle incoming shots without absorbing too much damage, a skill developed through his amateur background and Olympic experience. Valdez notes that while this style may not always appeal to traditional boxing fans, it plays a crucial role in Teofimo's success. He adds that defeating a fighter like Shakur Stevenson demands discipline, precise timing, and calculated pressure.
I would put my money on Shakur, but shit, I won't be surprised if Teofimo surprises us all, for sure. I think I'm underestimating Teofimo a little bit, but I don't think he can make the necessary adjustments to his own style to combat what Shakur does best, but he could definitely prove me wrong, for sure.
Teofimo needs to stay patient and wait for the right openings to land clean shots that push Stevenson into uncomfortable situations, similar to how other fighters in boxing history have troubled more technically polished opponents. Valdez compares this to past bouts where accuracy and well-timed opportunities allowed underdogs to pull off surprising wins. He believes Lopez's calmness, distance control, and ability to counter under pressure make him a serious danger. If he applies intelligent pressure while remaining defensively responsible, Teofimo could put Stevenson's unbeaten record at risk. Valdez views this fight not only as a skills test, but as a strategic chess match where Lopez's counterpunching and patience may ultimately decide the result.
Hit him first, and Shakur Stevenson, the way he's positioned, the way his back foot's there, and then you see him comfortable, and he's all right. This is my shot, and you throw it. He just rocks back, or he has that back foot, just steps back, and he has a long reach, so he just counter punches you. And that's part of the game. You get hit and not get hit. And Shakur Stevenson does it to the T. He perfected that since he was an amateur and Olympian, silver medalist, and now he's done it as a professional. You know, maybe not the whole world enjoys it, but the boxing, the pure boxing fan will maybe appreciate that.
I know you tried to do it, and Shakur's undefeated at this point, but like, how do you beat a Shakur Stevenson?
You know, I think how you beat a Shakur Stevenson, if I can go back and do.
Zach Moses offered his straightforward opinion on the upcoming bout between Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, expressing confidence that Stevenson is positioned to control the fight. He stresses that Shakur's technique, speed, and ring intelligence give him a clear edge over Lopez. Moses explains that Stevenson's ability to manage distance, analyze opponents, and take advantage of errors makes him a tough assignment for anyone at lightweight. While he acknowledges Teofimo's power and drive, Moses believes Shakur's poise, experience, and strategic mindset will help him limit Lopez's strengths. He also points to previous matchups, such as the fights against Valdez and Conceição, as examples of how Stevenson has consistently handled aggressive fighters, proving how difficult his style is to break down.
Make that damage where he has no option. We all got tremendous fighters who box very well. You got Sugar Ray Leonard to Roberto Duran came, and he ended up catching him. You got Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker. He was an amazing defensive fighter. So, Zurdo Ramirez came in and beat him, and other fighters. So, everyone, I think time will tell what type of fighter, but I would say a pressured fighter. Maybe someone like Pitbull. We know Pitbull has had some losses. With guys who are even less defensive fighters than Shakur Stevenson. So, Rayo Valenzuela and then Gervonta Davis, and then this.
Antonio Tarver recently analyzed the upcoming matchup between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, outlining the only viable route for Lopez to win. He highlights Stevenson's strength in controlling distance, using angles, and keeping the fight in the center of the ring. When Shakur maintains this control, he dominates the bout, making it hard for Lopez to create openings. However, if Stevenson is backed up or trapped along the ropes, Lopez can exploit key opportunities. His quick combinations and ability to strike with both hands in rapid succession make him especially dangerous in close range against a skilled defensive fighter. Tarver also underscores that physical conditioning and mental focus are just as crucial in this matchup.
It's a fight against Teofimo, Madison Square Garden next week. How do you see that playing out?
I see him beating the shit out of Teofimo. I see Teo I don't want to really say too much, but I see Teo coming to do what he do, and I see Shakur coming to do what he do, and I just see Shakur doing whatever he want, and any type of way he want it, that's how it's gonna be. And next week is a big week, and I can't wait for bro to show everybody, for real.
Should beat the shit out of him. Do you think he's gonna stop Teofimo Lopez? Do you think if he wants to, he can?
I mean, he act crazy. I think he can. That's all I'm gonna say. He act crazy. I think he can.
Last one. Obviously, with that fight in the horizon, you want to be involved in big fights like that going down, that New York, New Jersey rivalry. Is that something that inspires you when you see Shakur doing this at the highest level?
Both fighters need to be in peak physical condition and fully focused, leaving personal distractions behind, as even a momentary lapse can be costly at this level. While the numbers and attributes favor Stevenson as the probable winner, Lopez can make the fight significantly tougher by initiating exchanges and applying pressure intelligently. By keeping Stevenson wary of counters, Lopez can disrupt his rhythm, open opportunities, and potentially swing momentum. His endurance and relentless conditioning give him an edge if the bout goes into the later rounds. Tarver notes that Teofimo has a history of stepping up when underestimated, citing his performances against elite opponents like Lomachenko and Josh Taylor. By combining his power, accuracy, and resilience, Lopez has a genuine chance to challenge Stevenson, setting the stage for a compelling battle of skill, strategy, and determination.
Fight sort of in the middle, you gotta favor Shakur, but if he's on the back foot if he's on the ropes, I mean, that's going to give Teofimo a lot of opportunities. And what makes Teofimo, I believe, dangerous in this fight, he throws both hands in succession. He's a combination type puncher, and that always serves well if you got a real slick defensive fighter in there. If Shakur can show us a little bit of that, what he had in his last fight, a lot of that work in the center of the ring, it's going to be an exciting fight. I think you got to favor the guy who's in the best condition, not only physically, but mentally. I think, these guys are going to have to lock in, and they can't let, that intricate, you got to have your personal life in order. You know what I'm saying? Leading up to a fight this big. You know what I mean? That's going to be the key.
Plemons also highlights the difficulties Lopez will face. Stevenson's defensive expertise, paired with his ability to transition seamlessly into offense, makes him extremely hard to break down. Lopez will need to lure Stevenson into spots where counters can be effectively landed, requiring patience, accuracy, and impeccable timing. Any small mistake could allow Stevenson to quickly regain control. Overall, the fight is shaping up as a strategic duel between two elite fighters. Stevenson's defensive brilliance and countering ability contrast with Lopez's offensive flexibility and adaptability, creating a matchup that tests strategy, timing, and ring IQ at the highest level.
Possess?
Yeah. I mean, smart money would be on the boxer, Shakur Stevenson, winning the decision. But, if Lopez can make this fight, a lot tougher than expected, and he's going to have to exchange with Shakur. He's a fast fighter. We don't know who's the quickest or fastest here. You have to give the speed edge to Shakur. But if Lopez can punch with this fast guy, make him a little bit cautious and a little bit leery of what's coming back, that serves him well. But Teofimo is one of the best conditioned fighters out there. If this fight goes late, you can expect him to be pushing forward round 9, 10, and 11 if it goes late.
Yeah, a big question is always like what Teo is going to show up. And like when everyone's counted out Teo, it's actually been the times where he's like upset people, like against Lomachenko, against Josh Taylor.
Wade Plemons analyzes the upcoming Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson bout, portraying Stevenson as a defensive genius and true ring strategist. He notes that Stevenson's skill in turning defense into offense distinguishes him, allowing him to read punches, anticipate moves, and convert opponents' attacks into countering opportunities. Plemons stresses that Stevenson's approach isn't about absorbing punishment or relying on sheer volume. In contrast, Lopez's strategy will likely combine his boxing intelligence with a controlled offensive pace. Plemons suggests that if Lopez can pressure Stevenson to lead and fight on the front foot, it may reveal weaknesses in Stevenson's ability to dominate the center of the ring aggressively. Lopez's adaptability, shifting between defensive, counterpunching, and offensive styles, could give him an edge in responding to Stevenson's movements.
A professor of the sweet science, you may say. And it's not like Teofimo has a William Zepeda-esque style. He's not just going to be front foot, volume punching, eat punches to give punches. That's not how he's going to fight. He is going to try to go boxing IQ for boxing IQ with Shakur, but I assume do it more on an offensive front foot pace than trying to goad Shakur to walk to him. I mean, it might be the best option for Teofimo if he could get Shakur to be front foot and offensive because of maybe the deficiencies Shakur has on the front foot. We haven't really seen him be a dominant front foot control center fighter. But this is why I'm hoping, again, knock on wood, we don't get like a defensive standoff where we're both feinting and no one wants to take the lead foot and both guys want to play counterpuncher. I think that Teo can do both better than Shakur can do both. I think Shakur is probably the better defensive to offensive fighter. I don't know. There could be a number of things he's talking about. Low blows, rabbit punches, rough clinch work, raking a forearm. I don't really know what he's talking about, but that's hilarious. He's just coming out and saying it. This is when Darren Till was telling Tommy Fury if he started losing the boxing match, he would kick him in the head. This is the same kind of energy, dude. Yeah, hey, listen, I might just do something illegal.
Basically, when you see a fighter like him, it is not illegal to do certain punches and throw certain punches or hit certain areas. It's not, as long as it's not below the belt line. Is that true?
Are you
saying
can't hit
gonna
behind
hit
the
me in
head?
the back of the head? Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are we talking about? You can't. I'm gonna punch him in the back of the head.
Huh? You can't hit behind the head. I mean,
No, I know. There's rules to it.
Back of the head. You can't hit nobody
but
in the back of the head.
Just saying, like, you know what? January 31st.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for what's coming next.